Okay, so this is kind of like a breakdown of all the steps that Sammy takes in order to provide a response. So when a user first makes a request, it goes through our restriction model first. So each of these models are like their own separate AIs pretty much, and they're all trained to do a specific task. So this first AI is trained to check for all these things here: academic dishonesty, plagiarism, or jailbreak attempts. So with AIs, because they have so much power, people try to sometimes jailbreak it, where they give it a task that it's not meant to be able to do, but because they it's kind of like social engineering, but with AIs. So the AI does things that are not legal or non-ethical, but we have this restriction model to check against all these non-ethical things. And if the model detects it, it just says, nope, I can't do that. So then if it is a genuine request, we move it on to this decision model. So there's a lot of data that Sammy needs to access. So stuff on the school website, events, like teacher names, other relevant information, or like times, dates, that kind of thing. So this AI then uses the genuine request, and it looks for like keywords kind of. So like let's say someone's asking about the curriculum. So it can realize that someone's talking about the curriculum or like teachers or whatever, and pass that on to this actions thing. And then actions can go and retrieve the right data, whether it be from the website or data that we provide it. And then that gets fed into the generation model, which is like what ChatGPT is. So the thing is, a lot of people, when they first hear about Sammy GPT, they think that we're just using OpenAI, like ChatGPT, to run it, but that's not true. Everything's done like completely from scratch, and we're using a model called Llama 2, which is like Facebook's version of it, and it's completely open source. So it's like none of the tools or anything that OpenAI provides, everything like that is done from scratch. Like we wrote all of that code. So basically, then I can pull that up. Dynamic prompt. So this, is this touchscreen? Or no?
Say it again?
Is this touchscreen? Can I
I don't think it would work without the USB.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, I'll just stand on this side then. So this is the prompt that we initially provide to Sammy. So there's an example of how it should respond, examples of how it should format things, and then instructions like uphold ethics and like general instructions like that. But this isn't all of the data that it could possibly be using. It could also need, let's say, the curriculum. So what we do is when we find that data using the actions, we inject it into the prompt. So we add a new section of that prompt that now has this new information that it didn't have before. And then the generation model can go ahead and use that in order to create a response. Then we do some post-processing, which converts it from this format into something more user-readable, like what we have on the website. And then, what happened? And then that's what shows up on the website.
So long before it ever gets to the generation model, it's gone. So all of this are models that you took from the open source from Llama.
No, these we made completely from scratch. The only thing that's Llama is the generation model. Because to train something like that, you need like giant supercomputers. So we physically can't do that. So we have to use something like Llama. But these ones, with that new AI server, they're completely reasonable to train. And so originally we were doing them with about 100 examples given to it off of our own personal computers. But now that we have the AI server, we can make much more accurate and larger models.
And it's open, for the most part, ask it as many general questions as you want.
Yep.
It'll just dip into, now, when it's going through the actions flow,
Yeah.
flow chart, it's using a combination of the school website. When you say relevant database info, that would be inclusive of the school website.
So this, yeah, I kind of skipped over it, but this is the school website. So what we did was, so these are all pages on the school website. So we had a program that we wrote go through the school website and filter through, click on pretty much every link it could find.
Just mapped it, right?
And yeah, to make a map of the school website. And then from there, in this file, we collected all of the text that we thought would be relevant, and we put it into this thing called a vector database. So how a vector database works is when an AI reads text, it converts it into a vector, like a 7 billion dimension vector. And so then when we find two vectors that have similar slopes, we know that those two ideas are connected. So let's say we have one about, I don't know, online remote, and then a parent asks Sammy, what days is the school remote? So then those two vectors would line up, and because they have a similar slope, we know that these two are referring to the same thing. So we could take it from the school website and feed it back into that dynamic prompt that we have, and now Sammy has access to that information.
Is it using, as one of its data sources, is it also visiting the New York City Public School webpage?
No, but we can add that. That's it. So the way we built it was that it's very simple to set up for a new school website or a different school. All you have to do is give it the original link of the new school or new website, and it's just going to do that whole process on its own. It takes about an hour, but you only have to do it once.
I have two questions. One is, at what point in this process is the additional languages in there? Because on Sammy GPT, you can add in Chinese or Russian. And other schools, we want to add more languages. So at what point in the process is the language conversion happening?
So this chart doesn't have it because it's a bit old, but it's happening here and right before the restriction model. So originally, let's say the request is in a different language, let's say Russian. So then what it would do is it would translate it from Russian into English and then go through this entire flowchart. And then at the end, it will get translated back to that original language. So at the start, we detect what language it's in and save it so we can put it back into that original language at the end.
Now, to bring this to other schools, is it something where we would have to train the models here on our PC to make that work? Or is it something that is easy to port to a cloud server or like an Azure?
So it is, but in the long run, it'd be more efficient to set up these schools with their own server of some sort. But it is definitely possible to put on something like Azure and host it in the cloud.
Are you able to demonstrate?
Yeah. Oops.
And is this something that's currently accessible?
Yeah.
Anybody can access this, right?
Yeah, this is running at our school right now. So, try Sammy. So, I don't know, who are you? So that's just a basic question, or like we can ask what AP classes are. So this is pulled from a database that we gave to it. It's also pulling from the school website. There's references here, so we could check. Yeah, so this is a reference to the AP program that it found on the school website. And then I can demonstrate.
Can you ask it the question, where can you go, where do I go to get summer, to get work
Is that on the school website?
Yeah, so right
Okay.
now, the only place that exists is as a
Let's see what the
picture.
reference is.
No text-based
Oh, yeah.
information.
Okay, so
Okay, how about a summary?
Yeah, the most important thing is that the school website's accuracy.
Yeah, it's going to be
Sammy.
really important.
let's click on that. Oh, because it's on a
So I
sec.
guess ask the question with less specificity instead of saying junior year.
Yeah.
The summer reading requirement.
And then if you just click on the first reference, it'll take you to the summer reading. I think.
That's good. So you're getting a text-based response, some links to click on.
Yeah. So I think the fact that it's on a Google Doc is the reason that it's not like able to specifically give it to you. But I think that's a feature that we should definitely add.
So one thing is we're redesigning the school website, and one of the things that we're doing is we want to move stuff up. With that CMS, we want to be designing the website to really embrace Sammy, and that's something that we've been talking about, is how to do that. So a lot of these external resources we want to move in-house. Or is there a way that Sammy, when you're training it, can know to look to the Google Docs for those things?
Yeah, we can give it access to Google Docs because right now we specifically told it not to.
Okay.
Because before, when we let it do the full course, it was getting to like other web pages that it's not supposed to be on. But we can definitely allow it to go on Google Docs and stuff.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show you Russian. So if I just ask, "Who are you?" in Russian, it's gonna. It's in Russian now.
And the other functionality of this, if you go back to the home page, which has the AI detection. But this is intended to teach, so anyone can click that right now, right?
Yeah, right now, yeah.
This is more so intended for teachers.
So the reasons anyone right now is because I think about a year ago, the DOE stopped allowing us to use Google accounts. So like teachers and students can't sign in with their DOE accounts. But originally how we intended it to function was to make sure it's a teacher email, so at schools.nyc.gov, and then it would allow you to use it. But because,
right now
because they disabled that.
basically upload files.
Yeah, so I can go ahead and go to upload file.
Yeah, you have file, yeah, right.
I don't think I have any examples, but you could upload. This is using this model from this research paper. So again, this kind of models are basically impossible to train on the hardware we have. You need like huge supercomputers to train this kind of stuff. So we have to use what's already available. But it's about 97, 98% accurate. So that's a plus. And the whole point is that you can like drag in a whole class or a whole grade at a time, and it'll just work through them and find what's AI and what's not.
I think teachers need to be trained though to understand, and he and I talked about this a lot last year, that
Yeah.
some teachers will assume that a paragraph can be checked here, but you really can't.